In the past few years, I've spent so much money buying silk flowers online for my product development. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to make use of some of them because of their color and poor quality. I don't want you to make the same mistake as I did, so in this video, I'm going to share with you things that I've learned from my past shopping experience for silk flowers, so you know what to look out for and make informed decisions. I will go through images from some shops on AliExpress with you, where most things on Amazon are from. Personally, I've always preferred the natural, realistic look when making arrangements. That's why I will focus more on how to get the realistic look when shopping. Let's get into the details. First of all, you need to know how the real deal actually look like in order to tell if something looks fake or not. When I was starting out, I used to show my mom pictures of silk flower products and ask her if they scream fake to her. And you know what? Sometimes she told me the real deal looked as fake as the artificial ones that I've shown her. Find photos of the real flower and compare them to the product photos in the online shop will help you screen out unnatural looking flowers very quickly. Then let's look at some products together. The number one thing that you need to do is to skip all the beautiful mood photos with awesome lighting, filters, etc. and get straight to the product photos with the white background for the essential details that we need to know. We need to check if the size of the flower heads fit our project and if the stems are long enough for the project. If it's a stem with multiple flowers, it's always nice to have size and shape variations within the stem. If you are buying single stems, make sure you are buying flowers in various sizes for an arrangement. Let's look closer and look at the petals. There are three things that we need to pay attention to: coloration, shape, and texture. In terms of coloration, get flowers in colors that are naturally available rather than blue, black, gold, or rainbow color. And you want to look for a natural gradient on the petals. Check and see if you find any obvious brush strokes on the petals. And unless you have a certain vintage theme for your project, vintage colored or oil painting petals always look fake in real life, so you may want to avoid that. Then you'll want to check the shape of the petals. Are they shaped naturally? And how about the texture? Is there any embossed veins on the petals? Are the veins embossed with the right amount of depth? And what the petals were made of could affect their look and touch as well. The most commonly used material is artificial silk, which is polyester. They give you the lightness and softness of real petals. However, the density of the woven fabric can affect how rough the petal edges can get. Then we have real touch petals, which are artificial silk petals dipped in latex coating to create the real touch. The petals are usually thicker than the artificial silk ones because of the coating. Real touch flowers could give you the more realistic touch and look, however, they may not necessarily give you the best coloration and faint embossment. From my experience, the most realistic flowers usually don't have real touch petals. And unless you need your flower arrangements to be really robust and stay outdoor under the rain for weeks, otherwise I wouldn't recommend getting PE foam flowers because the petals look really thick and they can look very rigid. Then let's move on and look at the joints. For flowers, we need to check the calyx. If there's a huge color difference between the calyx and the stem, it screams fake in your face for any close-up photos, so you may not want to use those flowers for arrangements that people can see up close. And you may also want to check if there's massive amount of glue oozing out from other joints. Let's move on to the leaves. Are they shaped and textured like the real ones? Are the veins printed nicely? And is there any size variation within the stem? And remember to check if the color works for your project. If you want freshness and liveliness for your project, you may want to avoid flowers that come with yellowy leaves. If you are making bouquets, the look of the stems could be important as well. Are they textured and colored like the real ones? Or are they just smooth rubber tubes in green? Now we know what to look out for when we want to shop for realistic looking silk flowers online. You may say they are more expensive than the average ones. And let's be honest, we all have limited budgets. So how could we skim on the realistic looking flowers when we don't have big bucks? According to the viewing distance, you could decide how realistic you need them to be. If you are meticulous about details like me, and don't want people to notice you're using faux flowers instantly, I would use the most realistic flowers for bouquets and accessories that are worn because people could see them up close. A quick tip for bridal bouquets: invest a bit more on the tiny filler flowers, berries, and leaves, as they could make a huge difference. If the flowers are for the dining table, you could spend more on the focal flowers and use the average ones in the inner layers or less obvious places in the arrangements. If the flowers are on an arc or canopy for a wedding, then you can spend the big bucks in areas on the same level as your torso, as those are the areas which your photographers and guests would focus on. I hope you have found this video helpful. Thank you for watching all the way till the end. I will see you in the next one.